Well, hello there. My name is Christina Luckett, owner of Lux Elite Notary, home of the Ohio Notary University. So today we're going to talk about deeds and not those dirty deeds you did last night, sis. We see you, but your secret is safe with us. We're going to talk about real estate deed. And what is a deed? A deed is a legal document that transfers ownership from one person to the next. So the person that actually owns the property is considered a grantor, and the person that's receiving the property is considered a grantee. So there's 5 things you need to know before notarizing a signature on a deed. So let's get to it. First things first, blank spaces. Anytime you notarize a signature on a document, you have to make sure there are no blank spaces, because if there's blank spaces, there's no notarization. Okay, so if you are hired by a signing company or a title company, you need to get in contact with them to see what information needs to be filled in, and not by you, but by the client. And then if it's a general notary work, the client would have to reach out to the company or person that prepared the deed for them. So number 2 is name. Okay, so this is really important. So we're going to go with the less than but not more than. So what I mean by that is, let's say the deed reads Jane Doe. The driver's license that you have in front of you reads Jane Allen Doe. So therefore, you'll be able to notarize Jane Doe's signature because the document contains less than what the ID has. However, if the document reads Jane Allen Doe and the ID that you have in front of you only reads Jane Doe, then that's a no bueno. You cannot notarize that signature. Why? Because it's not adequate information. She's missing that middle name on her driver's license. So what do? There's a few things that you can do. Either A, you could ask the client for additional documentation or additional identification to identify them as Jane Allen Doe. Second thing is, you can get in contact with the signing company or title company that hired you, and you ask them how would they like the client to sign. If it's a general notary work, the client will actually have to get in contact with the person that prepared the deed. Now, let me tell you this. They may tell you have the client sign AKA, also known as, and then the name that's on their driver's license, or they may have the client sign HTTA, which having taken title as, or they may have the client also do a PKA, professionally known as. Whatever the case may be, whatever direction that they give you, make sure you follow those directions. Number 3. Now, let me get comfortable for this. If you are an Ohio notary, you already know our deeds need no witnesses, okay? We don't need witnesses out in these streets when it comes to Ohio deeds. Just the client and your signature and your stamp, and that's it, okay? But there are some places, I'm not gonna say no names, yeah I am. There are some states that require witnesses for deeds, such as Florida. So this is something that you most definitely want to keep in mind when the client calls you and let you know that they have a deed, that needs to be notarized. What you need to ask the client is, are there any witnesses required, or are there any witness signatures? If they say yes, then therefore you can either A, provide the witnesses for them at an additional cost, and if you're unable to do that, B, you can let the client know, hey, no problem, just make sure you bring your own witnesses. However, you must stress to the client, if they are bringing their own witnesses, they must not have any vested interest in this transfer of property, which means they have to be an impartial party. Their name can't be on the deed. They can't benefit in this transaction in any way. There's no benefit for the witness in this transaction in any way whatsoever. So sometimes they may bring in a neighbor or a friend or whatever the case may be. But whatever the case may be, they have to be an impartial party. 4, this is very important, the notarial certificate. So the notarial certificate is our domain, your domain as the notary. Okay, sis, your domain. So no one can tell you what to put here but you, okay? And then, but the state of Ohio, okay? So there's rules and regulations that we have to follow when it comes to the notarial certificate. Now, let me tell you this. In the state of Ohio, we're not able to certify anything, okay? It's illegal for us as a notary to say that we certify blah, blah, blah on a document, okay? But there is a workaround for that. There are some deeds that's going to be prepared in different states that does not follow the rules and regulations of our notarial laws. So what do? You attach a notarial certificate to the document, okay? So if the wording is not per Ohio Secretary of State laws, notarial laws, okay? All you have to do is attach a notarial certificate. Now, some people may ask, well, how do I know which certificate to attach? You just follow suit. So whatever the document has, so whatever notarial certificate that is already there, you just replace it with that. So if there's an acknowledgement notarial certificate that doesn't have the proper wording, then you would attach the acknowledgement. If it's a jurat certificate that doesn't have the proper wording, you just attach a jurat. Okay, that's it. You just follow suit. So whatever's in the document, you just take whichever notarial certificate that is required and you replace it with that. And make sure you staple it. And number five is really important too, because this incurs additional charges for the customer. So when you're filling out your notarial certificate and when the client is signing, make sure they do not go outside the margins. So this is the margins. Their signature should not go outside the margins. Why? Because it's a recorded document. The county doesn't want to do extra work. And if they have to do extra work, guess what? They're charging the client to do so. And in some states, they can charge $20 extra per page if their signature or if your information is outside the margins. Hopefully this helps, and if you want more tips, tricks, and information on how to increase your notary knowledge and how to increase your notary business, don't forget to click the link in the bio at the Ohio Notary University, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.